just to maintain the integrity of the call. Brandon, you want to open with your disclaimer so we can get started?
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining today's call. Just a quick reminder that this call is being recorded, and I will now pass it over to our board chairman, Jeff Levine.
Good morning, and welcome to the 4th annual All-Valley Mayor and Tribal Chair Town Hall meeting. The Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce is honored to have you here today. We wish this could be in person, and we thank you for joining us. My name is Jeff Levine, and I'm the chairperson of the board for the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce. I'm also Vice President and Director of Client Services for Asher & Asher Consulting, and we're a local advertising agency here in the Coachella Valley. We will be turning the call over to our moderator, Jeff Stahl from KESQ shortly. But first, I'd like to recognize our generous sponsors that make these events possible. Alpha Media, AT&T, Audubon Society, Augustine Casino, Vertec Waste and Recycling Services, California Bank and Trust, Desert Care Network, Primary and Specialty Care, Desert Urgent Care, Fantasy Springs Resort Casino, Forest Lawn Memorial Parks and Mortuaries, Gulf California Broadcast, CBS Local 2, KESQ TV, KDFX, KCWX, and Kuna FM TV, Mechanics Bank, NBC Palm Springs, Osborne Rincon CPAs, and Southern California Gas and Electric. Thank you all for being our sponsors this year. We would also like to recognize our presenting sponsors, Altura Credit Union, AT&T, and Quack Car Wash. That's Quick Quack Car Wash. At this time, we'd also like to hear from our 4 title sponsors. First up is Desert Jet.
Hello, I'm Jared Fox, the CEO of Desert Jet. As the only full-service aircraft charter and maintenance company in the Valley, we are very proud of the high-paying jobs and economic development that we bring to the area. With more business and leisure travelers visiting the area through our private jet charter company. Desert Jet is proud of the internships we've offered to local high school students, offering them an opportunity to step up into high-paying professional jobs.
Hi, I'm Jim McCool, proud owner of Desert Jet, here at Jacqueline Cochran Airport in Thermal. You know, first, this building that you see behind me is a testament to the example of growth that we're committed to support jobs and careers here in the East Valley. This couldn't have been done without the support of so many people here in this community. And so first, thank you. Thank you to the community leaders. For without your support, your advice, your counsel, and joining with our vision for growth here in the Valley, this couldn't have happened. You know, I've had a home here in the Valley since 2006, and in those 14 years, I've witnessed firsthand the significant growth and opportunity that is occurring right here in Thermal in the East Valley. And while yes, we are committed to growing Desert Jet, and it will grow, the real benefit is this community. The benefit of creating and enabling careers not just here at the airport, but the surrounding businesses. And that's a win and a victory for everything that's going on, and a testament to the foresight that our leaders have invested capital and time and resources into this side of the Valley. Thank you.
We'd love to see you aboard one of the Desert Jet fleet very soon.
Good morning. On behalf of the Desert Valley Builders Association, I'm Gretchen Gutierrez, CEO. We also would like to thank our fellow title sponsor, Nobel Energy Solutions. We're here to welcome you today to the All Valley Mayor's virtual event. We hope that you enjoy hearing from the elected leadership throughout the Coachella Valley as they strive to tell you and inform you about those things that are happening within their respective communities and how together we are going to rebuild not just the Coachella Valley, but our region, our county, our state, and throughout the nation. We appreciate your support today. DVBA is charged with being your legislative and government advocate on behalf of the new construction industry, and we welcome any and all input as we strive to bring you housing for all. Nobel Energy Solutions provides small grade utility services. They also are working with a number of these cities here in the Valley and continue to support the home building construction industry as well. On behalf of ourselves and Nobel, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. We'd also like to thank Sunrise Companies for providing us with this beautiful venue here at Andalusia in La Quinta and Toscana in Indian Wells. Thank you very much.
Once again, the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce would like to thank all of our sponsors for supporting us today. Our MC today will be Jeff Stahl with KESQ News Channel 3. Jeff is an Emmy Award-winning reporter that you can watch every weekday morning on News Channel 3 in the morning and News Channel 3 at noon. He has been an anchor and reporter with KESQ TV since June 2000. Jeff, the floor is all yours.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. It's neat to see the neat things happening. It's good to be here kind of in our own kind of little Brady Bunch virtually. I can't wait until we can all be together again in an actual room to do this annual event. It's great to be a part of it again, to hear from some of our desert leaders, your latest updates on the community. Also, a big thank you to KESQ management for allowing me to be here today to help MC this event and make sure that everybody gets their chance to let people know what's going on. These certainly, as we've already heard from people as we were kind of filing in, seriously troubling and serious times. Hope you've all been well. It's not been easy for families during the pandemic. I know I've been lucky. My wife and I were still gainfully employed. It hasn't been easy though. I mean, we've got a kid that we're trying to homeschool, distant virtual learning, and knowing that so many people are hurting around the area. I look forward to, as I'm sure many of you do, hearing what's going on with our local governments. It's already neat to see, though, from some of our important sponsors here. There's a lot of already good work, good things happening around the desert, people helping others, and simply people doing good things. Let's get right to the program today. We're going to have some welcoming remarks from each legislative representative. Each speaker is going to have about 5 minutes to give you an overhaul and an overview of your area of governance. Please note that all cities and local tribal nations were invited to attend this town hall virtually today. A member of the chamber staff will also let you know if your time is about to expire shortly after the presentations, and we're going to also invite our speakers to join us for a discussion. So without further ado, let's get on with this today. We have representing the city of Cathedral City, the mayor, John Aguilar. Welcome you to the floor. Thanks for being here today.
How much on so you want to look at the TV screen?
Okay, let's try this again. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Good. All right, I'll start again. Good morning. Thank you, Jeff and Jeff, and to the sponsors for the chamber and hosting this great event this year during what is a particularly challenging time for everybody, as you just pointed out. But I did want to note that on today's town hall, I have I'm pretty sure joining us with us is our Mayor Pro Tem Raymond Gregory, Councilperson Rita Lamb, Councilman Member Ernesto Gutierrez, and Councilman Mark Carnevale, who have joined us and who work very hard with myself and with our staff to do all the good work of our community. And then finally, before I have a short video that we're going to play for you, and then I look forward to the Q&A, I did just want to make a note of thanks to our firefighters who have all been working so hard to protect our communities in Southern California. I know that we have several of our crews who have been deployed from many of our jurisdictions, including ours, and we wish them well and keep them in our prayers. So with that bit of an introduction, I'm going to get started with our video, and let's go for it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mayor John Aguilar. Like most cities across the nation and around the world, Cathedral City has been challenged with the human toll and economic hardships brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Since the outbreak, we have done our very best to keep our residents informed about preventative measures, the latest case and recovery statistics, and information about financial assistance and grants for other households and businesses. Many of these vital programs have been the difference between a company staying in business and a company going out of business. And as you know, these have been and continue to be unprecedented times. Cathedral City continues to meet these challenges with a very strong determination to succeed. A great example of this is determination in our downtown arts and entertainment district. Challenging times are called for creative solutions. The Mary Pickford Theater will open a drive-in theater on the vacant lot directly across the street from its current location. Not to be outdone, the Coachella Valley Repertory Playhouse will offer special performances this season at the city's nearly completed $5.3 million amphitheater park. Designed to seat 2,900 people, this beautiful venue can easily accommodate 225 socially distanced theater goers when it's allowed. Scheduled to open in October, Cathedral City will dedicate the new downtown fire station 411. This $8.1 million facility will host our fire and ambulance services for the south side of the city for the next 50 years. Finally, the Agua Caliente Band of Quahia Indians continues to work to open its latest gaming and entertainment complex at the corner of Date Palm and East Palm Canyon before the end of the year. Visitors will enjoy casual and fine dining by renowned executive chef Julian Gonzalez Cruz, table games, 500 slot machines, a sports 360 experience, and a 12,000 square foot outdoor pavilion that will provide live entertainment year-round. And another great example of resilience is just down Highway 111 at Cathedral City Auto Center, which is the largest automotive center in eastern Riverside County. Construction crews are almost finished with the stunningly new Schottenkirk Desert Lexus dealership. This $22 million development will allow Toyota of the Desert to expand into the former Lexus dealership, giving them a greater footprint in this growing auto complex. Right behind the new Schottenkirk Desert Lexus Sales and Service Center sits a plot of land destined to become College of the Desert's new strategically located automotive technology training center. Not only will it prepare students for good-paying jobs in the automotive and transportation industries, it paves the way for a special synergy to develop between the auto dealers and the college, the exact kind of environment the City of Cathedral City is always striving to foster. Cathedral City will finally overcome one of its greatest challenges during flash flooding as construction on the Cathedral Canyon Drive Bridge has commenced. The $22 million Ophelia Bringus Memorial Bridge project will allow for safe traveling over the Whitewater River and serve as conduit for the expansion of the CV Link through Cathedral City. Residents will soon be able to walk or ride a bicycle or golf cart from the neighborhoods all the way to the downtown arts and entertainment district to dine, shop, and play. And lastly, when an economic crisis begins, typically the housing market slows. That's not the case this time, as more people have realized that they no longer need to live in large urban cities like LA or San Francisco or San Diego to work. With telecommuting becoming the norm, Cathedral City's housing market has become a hot commodity. It's not unusual at all for a Cathedral City listing to get snapped up within a day or even an hour. The outlook for our builders is just as sunny. At the close of July this year, the city had issued as many building permits as it did in all of 2019, with almost half a year to go. D.R. Horton has been hard at work on Verano, a master planned community featuring 329 new homes near the corner of Landau and Verano Road in the northern corner of the city. They can hardly build the dwellings fast enough. Meanwhile, only a few homes remain available at the District East. The follow-up community to GHA companies quickly sold out the district at the edge. The same builder's Cathedral City 25 development, which offered new infill homes on generously sized lots within established neighborhoods, was also a smashing success, and we look forward to the recently approved 110 single-family unit development called Mountain View Estates that will build modern luxury-style homes similar to those under construction in our neighbor Palm Springs. These are definitely unprecedented times, but as you can see, Cathedral City remains resilient. We are a proud, business-friendly city that has a clear vision for its future. Our commitment to both big and small businesses is unwavering. and we look forward to much success in the coming years. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Unmute. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I muted myself and I could not unmute. I do apologize for the delay. Neat to see all the neat things going on in Cathedral City, all those homes. Drove by that new casino project the other day. It's going to be a beautiful addition to downtown Cathedral City. Can't wait to see that as well. And that COD coming expansion right below the new Eagle Canyon Dam that was just dedicated several years ago. No more flash flooding in that area. It's great developments there in Cathedral City. Without further ado, it's time to move on to the city of La Quinta. Mayor Linda Evans, it's your time to give us an update. And good morning.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Jeff, for continuing to support the Chamber of Commerce by being our MC. Linda Evans, Mayor for the great city of La Quinta. I have with me on Zoom our entire council, as usual, with the La Quinta team, and that would be Mayor Pro Tem John Pena, Council Members Steve Sanchez and Robert Ratty, as well as Councilmember Kathleen Fitzpatrick. I would like to also recognize that our City Manager John McMillan is on, and our awesome team of marketing and economic development, which is Marcy, Gil, and Doug. So, you know, today is traditionally one of those days where all I do is promote our State of the City, which happens to be 3 weeks from today, from 10:30 to noon. So October 15th, La Quinta, State of the City. I'm going to cover a lot of information similar to the fabulous projects that are going on in Cathedral City. But today, since this is business focused and it is the Chamber of Commerce, let's just talk about money and how the city of La Quinta has helped our businesses during this pandemic. So if I can have Marcy queue up, we're going to talk about our small business loan program and rebate program. And we'll run through a few things and brag about some of the things that we've been able to do to help our businesses thrive. And so many of our small businesses in La Quinta are also La Quinta residents. So those owners live there, work there, and want to thrive collectively. So as soon as the shutdown occurred back in March, we quickly pulled together and allocated $1.5 million of our emergency disaster economic fund. And basically we've gone through a number of rounds of our loan program. First of all was rounds 1 and 2, and it's kind of a micro loan program. People do not have to start paying until next April of 2020, and they've got 2 years to pay. We've awarded $500,000 and about 51 businesses were helped during that initial program. So then we moved towards potentially opening up, and then we got closed down again. And so when we look at how many businesses we actually help based on applicants, our current program is somewhat of a rebate program. So it's opportunities for businesses to actually submit receipts for purchases they've made to help meet the safety standards for either restaurants or retail. And you can see on the screen that we've helped at least 41 so far and awarded a total of $266,000. Moving into the, there you go, the heat map of where these businesses are located. Clearly our corridor, our 111 corridor, which is that 2-mile stretch between Washington and Jefferson, largely where our revisioning is going to happen. And we'll be talking about that at the State of the City on October 15th, but also down in the Old Town Village area. And then those random dots off to the side are some home-based businesses that we are also able to support financially. Next slide, please. And when we talk about the rebate program, again, these are rebates that we can just literally provide money to our businesses to help them. And this was basically our rent relief. So when we learned of the shutdown in July, we thought, what are we going to do? These folks just reopened and now they're shut down again. So we provided the opportunity to get reimbursement for their mortgage, their rent, their lease payment, whatever it took in for the month of July, along with utilities up to a cap. And you can see that we've awarded $135,000 in 17 restaurants. In addition, we went and expanded that to other businesses because we did receive some CARES Act dollars. We received about $500,000. Clearly, we can all say as a valley that we deserve more in our cities, that the allocation per person in our smaller cities isn't quite what the big cities got. And we're still fighting and advocating that battle up in Sacramento. But besides restaurants, we also expanded to other businesses and awarded 14 so far. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. Our rebate program and Alfresco program. Alfresco is that outdoor dining. So anything we can do to provide accommodations and reimbursement for restaurants who have invested to move their business outdoors to help on the seating capacity and help on the safety standards, that's what we did. And we reimbursed up to 80%. And clearly you can see that not only, again, through either safety measures, the plexiglass separations, Also, the alfresco included shade structures, fencing, mister programs, a number of things that people have become quite creative, and we're proud of that. And we've awarded money for that too. And that's an ongoing program. We're allowing restaurants and businesses to help seek reimbursement through the end of this calendar year because we recognize some of them already closed for the summer and they start coming back during season. So we want them to have the opportunity as well. Next slide. Here's just the breakdown in terms of how we've distributed the money just based on application and or applicability. And clearly the restaurant piece has been the biggest piece to keep that business thriving and attract people to the retail agents that are also in business near those restaurants. And I think that this pie chart might change as the program rolls around. But we did want to take the time and list several of the businesses in La Quinta that really took advantage of the fact that we wanted to reach out and help them. And you can see the list here. The list actually continues to the next slide. That's for the initial rounds 1 and 2 on the microloan program. And then if we look at the next round, these are the rebates. So this is either mortgage or safety supplies or alfresco. This is the rebate and alfresco program as well for restaurants and businesses throughout La Quinta. So we really take pride in the fact that we stepped up early. And I know that we've been a role model for other cities, not only in the Valley, but also throughout Riverside County. We've shared our loan program information with them and they've adopted similar things with the money that they can afford. And depending on what happens as we move into the different flashcard tiers, as I call them with Mr. Newsom, we hope that we'll be able to continue to provide that support because we clearly are a conservative city and we've got strong reserves at hand. And if you want to hear more about the development in La Quinta, make sure you, thank you very much. You make sure you tune into the State of the City 3 weeks from today, October 15th, starting at 10:30. And with that, thank you very much.
And thank you, Mayor Linda Evans from La Quinta again. You got the small business relief loans, the rent relief, the rebates, a lot going on to help people. And certainly there is a lot of that need right here in the desert right now. So thank you for all you're doing for the city of La Quinta as well. Let's continue on. Representing the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians, the tribal vice chairman, Reedy Milanovic, is here with an update of what's going on. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. So my name is Reedy Milanovic. I'm the vice chairman of the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians. I'm filling in for Chairman Ruby today. He unfortunately couldn't be here today, but he has spoken very highly of this event. So I'm very humbled and very honored to speak with all of you today. I want to acknowledge all of our government partners, which is just from the looks of it and pretty much everyone on this call here. The tribe does enjoy very positive relationships with everyone here in their respected cities and communities. I want to thank the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber for hosting today's event. And first, I want to say that the tribe is proud to be at the table working side by side with businesses and governments to make our way through this pandemic. I don't know if anyone has seen some of our billboards that we have around the valley, but we have a slogan, Stronger Together. And I think during these unprecedented times that is very appropriate for right now. Next, for those of you who don't know about the tribe, we're a tribe of a little over 500 members. We have about 32,000 acres of a checkerboard style reservation that lies over Palm Springs, Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, and some parts of unincorporated Riverside County. We have a number of business enterprises. Some of those include the Agua Caliente Casino, Palm Springs, Rancho Mirage. We have 2 golf courses tucked away in beautiful South Palm Springs. We also have possibly my favorite, the Indian Canyons and Tahquitz Canyons. And I'm not sure if anyone has had the chance to go visit those canyons. And I realize I am biased, but I think those are some of the most beautiful surroundings in the world. I mean, there's miles and miles of hiking trails, and especially with the season we're going into right now with the temperatures cooling down, there's trails for beginners and from beginners all the way to the most experienced hikers out there. And I encourage everyone to go walk those trails. Also, we are in the middle of 2 major construction projects. The first one is the Agua Caliente Cultural Plaza, which sits on the historical Section 14 in downtown Palm Springs. And on that site, we have two buildings. The first one is a project that this tribe has had been working on and really been working towards for decades, and that is the Agua Caliente Cultural Museum. Inside there, we are going to be able to showcase a lot of artifacts and really educate the public on who and what this tribe is, and we're really looking forward to that being done soon. And just a couple feet away, also on that same site, is a world-class new spa facility, which is named KESQ. KESQ is our traditional name of the hot mineral spring water, which flows directly underneath that site, and guests who visit the spa are going to be able to soak in those waters. The waters is very sacred to us, and we used to have the spa back in. I mean, the spa was there for a while. Obviously, it's not there anymore, but we had a lot of positive feedback about soaking in those waters. We're not exactly sure when construction is going to resume on that site, but given the importance of that project to the tribe, we hope to resume very, very soon. And then next, as already said here, we have the new Agua Caliente Casino, Cathedral City, and we're very proud to have that casino in a Cathedral City, excuse me. And I want to thank the partnership that we've had with the city of Cathedral City. We've worked very closely together in order to get this project going. And as you can see, the construction is cruising along quite well, and will be open at some point by the end of this year. And you know, the tribe takes great pride in being one of the largest employers in the valley. And along with this new project in Cathedral City, we will be adding an additional 500 jobs, and we're very much looking forward to adding those jobs to the current workforce. We're also excited for the new Cat City Fire Department station nearby, which the tribe helped fund as a result of the land purchase for the casino project. And as I said, that this is opening by the end of the year, and obviously we hope everyone can pay a visit there, and I'm sure there will still be wearing masks and of course social distancing. Now, I've gotten a lot of comments as far as the speed of that project, and I wish I could take credit for that, but that's the great construction crews we have working there. I'm amazed not just by the speed, but the quality that the team has been doing over there. I've been on that site a number of times, and I want to show a little video here. It's a quick 60 seconds. It just kind of shows the inside of some of the construction crews working in there. So if you could please roll the clip. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to everyone today, and thank you for this opportunity to showcase the tribe. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
And thank you, Reed. Again, Milanovic from the Agua Caliente band of Cahuilla Indians. It was neat to see that video. I watched that video and I saw guys working, which at this time is so nice to see here in the desert. Important work going on there, and Stronger Together. I've seen those billboards around the valley right there as well at the casino. It's great to see. At this time, let's move on to the city of Palm Springs and the mayor Tempro, I believe, Christy Holstidge. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Happy to be with you all, even though it's remote. I remember last year we were all in the room together, and hopefully we can be again next year. So I'm Christy Holstidge. I'm the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Palm Springs. I'm joined today by Councilmember Dennis Woods and Councilmember Grace Garner. Though it's been a difficult 6 months for all of us through this pandemic, the future of Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley is bright, and I want to focus on sharing all of the good news about what's been happening in our city. So first, a budget update. Our sales tax and TOT revenue are up far beyond our projections because of the pandemic. So we've received 15 million more in revenue in our general fund than we budgeted for when we adjusted our budget. Though that's still below our initial budget that we thought when we didn't predict a global pandemic, our revenue has not been as affected as it might have been because of our strong tourism economy, because of our local businesses and our workers, and our economy and our tourism, really throughout the country has really continued to thrive. That includes 5 million more in sales tax and nearly 5 million more in TOT. That's from increased shopping, online shopping, visitors coming mostly from drive markets, and vacation rentals, which are thriving beyond what they've seen before. The real estate market is also on fire beyond what we've experienced. Homes are going for record prices in many neighborhoods. We're seeing probably what you're seeing in your cities as well. Homes getting 20 offers or more. People from LA, San Francisco, major markets are choosing to move to Palm Springs, which is both good for our tourism economy, but also impacting our housing market as prices soar. For a regional airport, which many of you care the most about, we have really great news. So after decades of work by so many regional partners, including many in this meeting, we are finally adding Southwest Airlines to Palm Springs Airport. So that's been decades in the making, and we're incredibly excited to welcome Southwest. They're still waiting to announce what routes that will be. 7 airlines have added new flights and new routes, in part because we invested in a ticketing wing expansion for our airport to get more of what airlines need. So JetBlue has added a new route to Florida. Alaska has added 3 new routes to Boise, Reno, San Jose. Most of these are daily to twice daily routes. American Airlines has added a route to Philadelphia weekly. Allegiant Air has added new routes. Delta has added a daily flight to LAX. That starts November 20th. And Boutique Air has also added flights to Phoenix and LA daily. So these are a lot of new daily flights that are starting October, November, December. It's really incredible that during a global pandemic, during an economy where the airlines are so affected, we're adding all of these new flights to Palm Springs. Just a few other updates. We restarted our hotel incentive program for TOT rebates for small and boutique hotels. So many of those hotels couldn't participate in the program that we had back before 2014. So this will allow them to renovate their facilities and get TOT rebates. We're working on a pilot program in Palm Canyon in our downtown to allow businesses to expand their footprint into the street and allow a pedestrian walkway for better social distancing, a better experience. We know that this is going to last longer than we all want, and so we want to make sure our downtown can really thrive. For businesses throughout the city, we've assisted businesses to expand outdoors into parklets, into parking lots, into streets. And finally, on addressing the homelessness and housing crisis in our entire region, thanks to Supervisor Perez and county staff, the County of Riverside has been approved for $4.25 million for a permanent supportive housing project for formerly homeless residents in Palm Springs and throughout the Coachella Valley. And the city of Palm Springs has committed $3 million of our $10 million homelessness fund that we received from the state, which can develop up to 70 units of permanent affordable housing with support services on site. So our region continues to be a model for the state of regional collaboration. That's through all of our work together through CVAG's Homelessness Committee, and we're proud to work in partnership with all of you on that project. These are difficult times, but we're 6 months through the pandemic. We've worked on public awareness campaigns to require masks and social distancing, enforcement so that our businesses can stay open and stay safe, so that our workers stay safe. And we've led regular meetings with all of our businesses and a reopening task force as well. So Palm Springs is looking forward to continuing to work with our neighboring cities, with all of our stakeholders and partners to continue to expand our economic growth and ensure the success of our region through this crisis. So thank you very much for having me.
And thank you, Christy. We do appreciate you being here, Mayor Pro Tem of Palm Springs. I knew I had that wrong when I said it the first time. Great to have you here. Neat to see all those new flight options as well, in and out of Palm Springs. That's great news for anybody who likes to fly locally to other places. Representing the city now of Indio, please welcome Mayor Glenn Miller.
Hello, everyone. This is Mayor Glenn Miller. Thank you. Got a little glitch there, as usual, in these Zoom meetings, but honored to represent the city of Indio and tell you a little about what's going on. I want to introduce my city council. They're all on the Zoom meeting. We have Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Holmes, Council Member Wayman Furman, Council Member Oscar Ortiz, and Council Member Lupe Ramos Amid. So we're honored to be here and let you know a little bit of what's going on in the City of Festivals. I want to thank my staff, our city manager, Mark Scott, and all that they're doing. We are as busy now as we were before the pandemic, and I want to thank all our first responders, our Indio Police Department, our Indio Fire, and all the first line individuals who are out there making sure that we're safe every day. So thank you to JFK and all the other hospital workers out here that are thanking us for what we're doing, and we're thanking them for continuing to support our community. The State of the City will be October 22nd, and we're looking forward to everyone coming out. It's at 10:30, and we look forward to having you watch what's going on. And I'd like to share a little video of what's going on here in the city of Indio and be able to show you a PowerPoint of all the exciting stuff going on. And let me get this up. You know, and it wouldn't work. When you know it. There we go. Always something. So I'm honored, all in Indio, and the great things are going on in Indio. You can find everything on indio.org. And what do you do in the City of Festivals when you don't have any festivals? You plan for next year. We're excited about working with Golden Voice for hopefully the festivals coming back in April of 2021 and looking what we can do to support them in making sure that they're successful and that we meet the codes and guidelines set up by the COVID-19 that we've had in place and be able to have the festivals, but in a safe and efficient manner. So we're very excited about the upcoming year. We've all had difficulties with the COVID-19 with our businesses, and we need to look at how we can be inventive and work outside the box to make sure that we keep our businesses open up our churches, and that's because they're essential, and continue to do what we do best, which is bring people into the city of Indio, into the Coachella Valley to spend millions of dollars on not only our festivals, but our fine food and dining. This is our 90th year for the city of Indio. It's our 90th anniversary. We are excited. We're moving full steam ahead. As you can see, the locomotive came through about a year ago, coming through the city of Indio, and that's what we're doing. We're continuing to move forward with exciting developments from housing to retail to restaurants. I think Christy said it best. The housing market is hot here in the Coachella Valley. People are deciding that they want to leave the inner cities and come out to where the beautiful sunshine is, and the city of Indio is no exception to that. One of our proud moments that we're starting to work on, and it's been coming a long time, is our downtown specific plan that was implemented not too long ago. We have the College of the Desert, which I'll talk about very shortly, coming in, but we also have a beautiful mixed use development, over 70 units with 7,500 square feet of retail, including a microbrew down below on the corner of Bliss and Oasis. gorgeous opportunity to advance our downtown programs with artwork. And like I said, the College of the Desert is coming down. So we're very fortunate that we own about 50% of all the downtown project and property there. And we're utilizing it to make sure that we can bring in a developer and programs to continue to work to develop the downtown program. Another exciting development, and like I said, our staff is busier now than ever. We're working remotely, but all our permits now are online, and we're going out and working not just virtually, but making meetings as we need to. This is the new Chandi Plaza. It's a convenience store with a gas station, retail, multiple restaurants, and a self-serve car wash, along with other amenities. It's on the corner of 44 and Indio Boulevard, right on the corner where Hoover is. It'll be a gorgeous addition to the Highway 111 and Indio Boulevard corridors. It's just going to continue to grow those areas. And you can see that it's very well laid out, and it's going to be an exciting addition to that area right across from the workforce development area. As the city of Indio is continuing to move forward, we have every major home builder here in the city of Indio, along with some of our locals like GHA and Family Development. As you can see, we have 2,755 new units. There was 3 major projects that went forward just last night with the Planning Commission. But as you can see, you can find every kind of house here in the city of Indio, the opportunities for apartments, the opportunities for high-end homes, opportunities for beautiful tract homes and some of the nicest 55 and older communities. So we're excited about the city of Indio. We have the most building permits of any city in the Coachella Valley, and we're very excited what the developers are doing in our city to make sure that we can meet the goals and obligations of our community and continue to provide housing to bring people in so that they can shop, live, and play in the city of Indio. As I was saying earlier, here's another look at the College of the Desert campus. It'll be going forward in 2021. We've cleared off the old white steel site, which will more than likely be a parking structure. This is adding another 64,000 square feet to our existing college campus right in Old Town Indio, right on the corner there by Oasis and Civic Center. It's going to double the student population from about 4,500 to about 9,000 or 10,000. And then just south of this is going to be an expansion of the College of the Desert for a daycare center. 40,000 square foot daycare center, which will provide daycare support for not only the students and our county agencies, but also at the same time, it's going to help us to be able to provide new educational opportunities because the students will be able to have hands-on training to be able to get their degree. And really excited about Vallarta Supermarket, the first supermarket from Vallarta in Riverside County. They had an option of going anywhere in the Coachella Valley, and they picked the city of Indio because of our leadership and because of what we're bringing to the table. They're located right off of Jackson Street where the old Marshalls was. Vallarta Supermarket is the Whole Foods of the Hispanic market. They have an inside full-fledged restaurant, bar, sushi bar, tortilleria. They have a carniceria. They have a candy section, which I'm in love with. Anybody knows I love the sweets. And then they have everything you can think of, from a sushi bar all the way down to a guacamole bar. So it's going to be opening up on October 7th. Come down and have a look around. It is beautiful. They employ about 125 people. It's all family owned and all family operated. And so we're excited about Vallarta Supermarket adding to our supermarkets here in the city of Indio. Some of our other developments that have come up, we're looking at some of the ones that we have here. These are just some that have happened over the last year and a half. We have Dutch Brothers Coffee coming in, Ulta's come in. We have Five Below. We have 2 new hotel projects that have just finished up, the Hampton Inn and the Fairfield Inn, that are open for business along the north side. We have other developments that are looking forward to joining them that we can't talk about, but I'm telling you, we are as busy now as ever. And with 90,000 people, almost hitting 100,000 people here very shortly, the city of Indio is prime for opportunities for not only our residents, but people coming in that want to call Indio their home. And we want to welcome everyone to Indio. So we're open for business. Please let us know what we can do to help you to be successful. And then Indio welcome you. You know, we're here, we welcome you to the city of Indio. If you look at our new art pieces that come in, and everybody asks us why they're walking into the city of Indio, They're walking into the city of Indio because it's just like our guests, just like our festival goers, just like our COD students and our businesses. They're walking into the heart of Indio, which is our community, which is very diverse culture and an opportunity for everyone to grow. And our art pieces are just another example of us coming back to show you what the city of Indio can do. So I appreciate the opportunity to show you a little bit about the city of Indio, and looking forward to some questions later on.
Okay, thank you, Indio Mayor Glenn Miller. It's great to see that new more than a grocery store by Arta. That's going to be awesome. Can't wait to maybe even try some of the sushi there, and some carne asada would be awesome as well, I'm sure. It's great to have you here, and let's go now to the city of Coachella and the mayor, Stephen Hernandez, who during better times I bump into you all the time around town, but not lately, so we'll have to do that again. It's good to see you this morning.
Good morning, and thank you all for tuning in. Let me just take a moment to acknowledge the 346 families of the Coachella Valley who have lost a loved one during this COVID-19 pandemic. In the city of Coachella, we are thinking greatly about all the families and everybody that's been affected through COVID-19. For us, it's about collaboration and intersectoral partnerships that we believe are going to be important to get us through this pandemic. I want to highlight the work that the city has been doing with this CARE Act money. The city received $430,000 in CARE Act money, and what we did is we gave that right back to the community. We didn't reimburse ourselves. What we did is created new programs. So we have programs for housing assistance, not only for rental assistance, but for us, it was very important that we provided mortgage assistance. We don't want to see a repeat of what happened in 06 and 07 and 08, where people lost their homes because they could not pay their mortgages. So in the city of Coachella, we have financial assistance for folks that can't make their mortgages. We also put another $65,000 to help our youth. Our youth right now are not able to get either a summer job because of COVID. And so in the city of Coachella, we have an internship program where we're going to be buying technology for our youth, as well as giving them a $600 stipend where they can put some money into their pocket as well as their families. And at the end, gain a greater network as well as gain work experience. And this is all coming through CARES Act money. We also put some dollars forward to mental assistance and making sure that during this time, families have the ability to see a psychiatrist. We know that families are under a lot of stress, and so we wanted to make sure that we have a program available for anybody that needs any type of mental health assistance. Moreover, we put another about $80,000 to our small businesses, irrespective of them receiving PPP money. And this is in the form of a grant and not a loan. We want to make sure that our businesses can buy the equipment they need to be able to set up outside, or have dollars that they need to make payroll, or be able to pay the rent for their businesses. For us, Coachella has a strong, robust small business community, and we want to make sure that we keep them healthy. Moreover, we've been in a strong collaboration with our school districts in downtown Coachella. There is a beautiful new Palmview school that is under construction, and it's actually just a beautiful gathering space, but it's themed very similar to our Pueblo Viejo design guidelines. And we also worked with our school district to procure over 3,500 Wi-Fi spots. We know that the digital divide is affecting a lot of families greatly, and for us, it was important that the city of Coachella use its purchasing power and its different contracts that it has with some of our internet providers to be able to procure hotspots and Wi-Fi connections for our students in the Eastern Coachella Valley. I got very, very exciting news when we're talking about housing for all within the city of Coachella. For us, yes, we do have the major builders that are in the city of Coachella and building. Pulte Homes is building about 50 units in the city of Coachella. D.R. Horton is building another 105 units in the city of Coachella, and we thank them. But one of the projects that I'm most excited about is a mixed-use affordable housing project that we just broke ground on, and that's a $45 million project that will include 105 mixed-use apartments, and it would include 3,000 square foot of commercial space, 40 new vans for van pools, 4 new Sunline buses, as well as a transit center. And this is all going to be located in our downtown hub. So for us, the live, work, and play is going to be extended to everyone, irrespective of your income. Right now, it sounds like the live, work, and play is only being extended to those that have, middle income or higher income. For us in the city of Coachella, we want to make sure that our low income and our very low income have an opportunity to walk to an educational facility, have an opportunity to go and get a cup of coffee or go to some great amenities that our downtowns are providing. So affordable housing is coming in the city of Coachella. We also have 2 major affordable housing projects that have received funding or are in the planning process. So we will continue to add about another 200 units of affordable housing in the city of Coachella. I also have great news. We are weeks away from breaking ground on our urban greening project. The urban greening project is within the Grapefruit Corridor. It is going to add over 350 trees that are going to be carbon sequestration trees. We were able to get a cap and trade grant for our urban greening project, and moreover, it's also going to add another 1,500 plants that will beautify our corridor. We believe that the more trees we can plant, the greater we're going to be in the Coachella Valley. We know that we experienced the hottest August on record in the Coachella Valley. So as a region, I'm hoping to bring an initiative forward where we commit as a valley to plant more trees and really try to just do some carbon sequestration, because August was hot and we're hoping to do what we need to do in order to combat global warming. Our state of the city is October 20th, and we will have more announcements, exciting announcements in the city of Coachella. For us, it's about moving forward on what we've been doing. It's infrastructure, it's economic development, and public safety. Financially, the city of Coachella is doing very well. We have a different tax base, we have a different revenue base. So for us, we can continue to make large investments in infrastructure. We can continue to pave roads, which we just finished paving about 6 miles of roads, $1.8 million of new investments. We're going to continue to roll that out year after year. So thank you for allowing me to speak. I look forward to any questions. Jeff, we'll see each other soon, and maybe we can grab that cup of coffee.
I hope so. Thanks so much, Mayor Hernandez from the city of Coachella. Can't wait to see that mixed use development downtown. That's going to be a really neat addition to the city of Coachella. Let's move on now this morning, representing the Torres Martinez Desert Cahuilla Indians, Vice Chairman Joseph Mireles. Please welcome him this morning. Good morning. I think we'll need to unmute him. I see him, or I see his screen, but I don't think he's unmuted.
I exist. I'm here.
Good morning.
Morning, everyone. Good to see everyone. Unfortunately, we're not, well, one good thing, since we're not in a room together, Manny can't outclothe me like he did last year, so that's a plus. But it's good seeing everyone virtually. Good to see that, everyone's still trucking along, all the cities, all the tribes. It's been a difficult year for all of us, unforeseen circumstances that happened in March, and now we're still living them. We're just trying to get through what we can do as a tribe. As some of you may know, Torres Martinez, we're on the eastern end of the Coachella Valley. We're the most east tribe. We're right below Augustine, a couple miles below Augustine. Our land starts on Avenue 62 and it's checkerboard as well, like Agua Caliente. And we go from Avenue 62 all the way down to the Salton Sea. We have 11,000 acres under the sea. So my line is always, you can call me Ariel because my land is under the sea. So we have 11,000 acres under there. We also have a adorable casino, Red Earth Casino, that's down there near the Salton Sea. 349 machines. We have a gas station. That is the tribe's economic development. So we're really grant dependent right now. We're trying to move away from that. During the summer and during the past couple months, one of the major things that Torres Martinez has been working on is just providing resources to our tribal members, be it food, help with utilities, those types of things. We did work with the USDA Farm to Table over the summer, and we were doing weekly distributions of produce to tribal members and some of the residents in the local mobile home parks that are on tribal member land. So we were providing some USDA produce to them as well. We're also working with, we understand that the Eastern Coachella Valley, one of the major issues that we have over here, of course, is connectivity. So right now we're currently trying to work on getting some hotspot devices for our tribal members and in the area. And we're trying to see what we can do on tribal land to try to help with that connectivity. So we're just looking to apply for some grant funding right now so we can do that. Two of the major things that we have that we're working on right now is we are a part of a consortium of tribes that operate Indian healthcare in Riverside and San Bernardino County. One of the big projects that we have on the reservation is we're building and we're almost done constructing a 10,000 square foot health clinic to provide primary care to Native Americans within the area, within our service area. So that's coming along. That should be open in February, and that's going to provide all primary care for, like I said, Native Americans who are within our service area, which is Riverside and San Bernardino County. The other thing that we did get granted last year and we're starting to move forward with is we got HUD funding to build additional housing for our tribal members on the reservation. So that's going to bring 12 new single family units to the reservation. We're trying to get more involved with the local communities to see what we can do to help the Eastern Coachella Valley as a whole, because of course we're in an unincorporated area. So we don't have a mayor out here. We're out here, but we don't really have any other representation in the area. So we're trying to get more involved in the area to see what we can do to help, you know, the entire area out here. Because one of the things that we always talk about, we've talked about in the past, is like the homelessness situation. A lot of times the homeless people and the other tribes can vouch for this. When the cities put in laws for the homeless population to no longer be within those cities, they go to tribal land. So you'll notice that there's tribal parcels that tent cities are starting to come up because they don't fall under this city's guidelines or the city's jurisdiction. So a lot of times they're ending up on tribal land. So we have to come up with ways to try to mitigate that situation. So we're looking at, we're looking as a tribe to figure out what we can do to try to help that situation because it's really, it's big in Torres Martinez. We have a large homeless population, and we noticed that little tents are going up behind bushes. So we need to figure out what's the best way that we can resolve that situation. But other than that, just like everyone else, we're trucking along, doing our best with, what's been handed to us at this point, and just trying to see what we can do just to help our local community down here and make sure that all of our tribal members are well taken care of, and trying to make sure our little gaming enterprise down there is still bringing in the couple dollars we need to run a tribal government. So that's Torres Martinez in a nutshell.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you again, the Vice Chairman there, Joseph Mirles. Thanks so much. It's great to see that those new homes going in. That will certainly help. And certainly the homeless issue, that's new to me. That's interesting to find out more about that. I'm sure we will be over the coming weeks. Let's move on now to the city of Desert Hot Springs, the Mayor Pro Tem, Robert Griffith. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Mayor Scott Mattis was not able to make it, so he asked me to attend today, and it is an honor to be here among all these great leaders. I want to say something. As I listen to everybody, I think the one thing that's really noticeable about the leadership in the Coachella Valley is that despite the challenges we faced during the pandemic, everybody is focused on solutions and not focusing on the problem, and it's a really great thing to see. So I am proud to be part of this group that is solution-oriented. Desert Hot Springs has always had its challenges, and the pandemic is no different. We, however, have kind of positioned ourselves to weather this and come out on the other side not too bad. A couple great things is that our new city hall is open. It is half staffed because of the pandemic. We are doing rotating shifts, and we haven't had a ribbon cutting, but it is open. It's a great facility. It came in under budget and actually came in early, although we did not get in as soon as we wanted. We have started having council meetings there. We don't have the public in yet, but the council itself is operating in the chambers. Jobs has been something that has affected everybody, and certain sectors of our city have obviously suffered with the shutdown. The one sector that has not, however, is cannabis. Cannabis sector has given us a total of 2,303 jobs since have been created since they put down roots here. We have 59 businesses involved, currently 25 operational licensed cannabis businesses, including 8 cultivation. We have 4 cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, a cultivation distribution, and 10 storefront retails. We actually have 21 businesses operating with temporary licenses, and we do have more that are set to open up in the future. Prior to COVID-19, our unemployment rate was 5.6%, which was a 40% drop from our high of around 14% back in 2016. So we were humming along pretty good, and then as everyone knows, the pandemic came, and then everybody's unemployment rate went way, way up. I don't have the figures for what it is now. I do know that, as everyone knows, some sectors have reopened. Our hospitality is struggling like most. The employment at each place is not back to 100% and probably not expected to be so for a while. However, we are surviving. One of the great things we have is Royal Emerald Pharmaceuticals, who set up shop here in our old Kmart. That was a big article in the paper. It was also on the news. We're really proud of that. We had a vacant building that we thought would sit there forever, and they came in and bought it. They're bringing in 200 jobs by the end of this year for the city, which is a great, great opportunity. In addition, they're very philanthropic. They've already committed to over $100,000 to go towards, say, Food Now, towards the Little League, so that every kid that wants to play Little League can play, and also for scholarships for our high school. They are moving their headquarters here from San Diego, so that's a really, really big win for us. And they are expecting to open a 100-bed facility for the treatment of PTSD and opioid addiction. They expect that within 5 years, we will have 1,000 jobs from that. So that's a really, really great thing. And it's things like this that keep the optimism alive. We did not suffer as much as everybody else in terms of the budget. Cannabis has been a very, very big help to us. In fiscal year 2019 and 2020, we brought in $4,354,000 in cannabis revenues, which is a 525% increase from when we originally started allowing cannabis. And it is kind of what really helped us weather this pandemic, because it offset the losses in TOT and sales tax. Our crime rate continues to go down under our leadership of Chief Jim Henson. We are fully staffed. We have added 2 canine patrols and 2 motorcycle officers. And our crime rate dropped in 2018 by 15% and has dropped 20% in 2019. In addition, if you've not been here recently, we had a major street upgrade. Our Palm Drive Street Light and Safety Improvement Project has been completed, and it has drastically reduced our pedestrian fatalities. And one final note, housing, like everywhere else, housing is pretty hot here. We just approved plans for 400 condo units, which will include affordable housing at Palm Drive and 15th Street. That's a big deal for us. And many of the projects that were stalled in 2008 have already started back up. So things are looking up, and I think we all have a great future to look forward to. I do think the pandemic is going to allow us to pull in people who can work remotely, that don't want to live in the denser areas anymore. So thank you for having me, and come visit us sometime. We're always happy to have visitors.
All right. Well, thank you, Robert. And again, Desert Hot Springs, 400 condos right there off Palm. That's going to be a neat development to see more housing, obviously a big issue for so many people here in the desert right now. Let's move on to the city of Indian Wells. Representing the city this morning is the Mayor, Ty Peabody. Good morning, Mayor.
Being not a computer person, I have to have somebody else open it up. First of all, I want to thank Jeff, you, and the Chamber for holding this event. My council members, Dana Reed, Ted Mertens, Richard Balaco, and Kimberly Music. I want to thank them and Chris Freeland and staff. I really want to congratulate the mayors on this call. This has been a totally different role for us over the last seems like forever, but 9 months. And I think personally, all of you have done a phenomenal job, and the work you've done to help the businesses, and obviously I'm a retailer, it's critical. And I thank you for saving so many businesses during this time. Manny, I want to thank you for holding all these Zoom meetings. I know we have frustrated you, me probably the most, but it's all for a good cause and all for a good reason. From the standpoint of Indian Wells, we're obviously the smallest town or city. We provide Palm Desert and La Quinta the money they need to do all these projects they're bragging about, with them getting all of our sales tax. So we'll leave it at that. Financially, obviously Indian Wells has always been a very financially sound city. We, on March 17th through March 21st, immediately reacted when I was told by Ray at the tennis gardens that we weren't going to have tennis, and I'm there with looking at 450 people working, and all of a sudden 2 hours later it's over. We immediately reacted and put a budget in place that basically we did not have to touch our reserve, we did not have to lay off any employees, and we didn't have to cut any services. We then have been following it, and we're going to introduce another new budget on October 1st. And the reason for that, and Glenn, sympathy to you and me, we don't know what's going to happen with Stagecoach and Coachella and tennis, but I would bet it's probably 50-50. It may not happen, or it will happen in a way that will have a very adverse effect on all of us from a sales tax and admission tax basis. So we're doing another budget which will kick in somewhere around October 1st that basically says we're not going to have those things and what's going to happen. And then if they do happen, we'll add back certain things as we see what happens. It looks like around December 1st, the tennis garden will decide whether they are going to have it, or they're going to just have it without spectators, or not have it at all. We don't have any idea what that answer is going to be at this point. The other one we took on quite dramatically which is our biggest asset, is the Indian Wells Golf Resort. And in May, we put in a worst case scenario budget. And the result of that, I won't go into all the details, but the result of that is the first 2 months of this year, we saved $400,000 over the previous year. And we will be over $600,000 reduction in loss versus last year. And that's major. The other thing it tells me, in my 8 years, we should have done this sooner, and we didn't. But now we are doing it, and we're seeing some great results. From the standpoint of affordable housing, we are in the process of developing a 100-unit facility on 111 on a 10-acre property. The consequence, if we didn't do that, and it will have to start by 2022, would be that we would lose $21 million to the state, which over my dead body, and we would lose about 10 acres of land. So we're in the process of that, and we will make the date, and we will protect that. The other thing we just did is we just gave $225,000 to CVRM and Martha's and Fine Food in total, and they needed it badly. And for CVRM, that's about 2 months of covering all of their expenses. We've had one new housing development. We don't have a lot of land. We have two major parcels. We had a project, which was a phenomenal project. When COVID came, that project went away because the money was being financed out of Singapore, and they stopped all financing. So we're working with some others on those properties. But those are critical properties because that's the next evolution of our revenue, and we need that revenue. Finally, our state of the city is late October, but I also want to remind everybody, and Manny, I saw the vote yesterday and the county supervisor, and I do support that, and I know you have hesitation, and rightfully so, but I do want to warn everybody, we've just moved to a new tier, and we can go back into that negative tier, which will hurt everybody. And if you're a retailer, you understand the consequences of opening and closing. So I just ask everybody in the cities to keep pushing wearing masks, keep pushing social distancing, and even my wife's restaurant, we're going to let the fewest amount of people possible inside the restaurant. We're not in favor of just opening it up. And I would also caution all of you, watch your restaurants. Don't let them cheat. Don't let them open their bars. Don't let them go beyond the 25%, because that puts the supervisors in a very tough position dealing with the governor. So again, thank you very much for having Indian Wells on this call, and look forward to continuing working with you for the next 2.5 months. And then I'm going to take a hiatus for 2 years. And then I'm going to come back and harass you all again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Ty Peabody. And thanks for those generous donations. Again, to Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, Martha's, and Find. That's money that right now is helping a lot of people who need that help. Let's move on now to, well, not everybody lives in the city, so we've got people that live in the unincorporated communities of Riverside County. We're talking, I'm looking at Bermuda Dunes, Thermal Mecca, Sky Valley. I'm sure I'm missing at least a couple out there. Please welcome Riverside County Supervisor V. Manuel Perez.
Thank you, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you on behalf of my colleagues, the County Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Jeffries, Supervisor Spiegel, Supervisor Washington, Supervisor Hewitt. I thank you for this opportunity, and let me just echo the sentiment of appreciation to our leadership here in the Coachella Valley for all that you're doing throughout our communities within the Coachella Valley. It's awesome to hear all the great work that you're doing, whether you're a city leader or a tribal leader. I appreciate it so much, especially during these tough times that we're going through. So thank you for your resilience. It's awesome to hear all the great work that you're doing. And I also want to thank our sponsors and as well the Chamber of Commerce. And it was mentioned earlier, our first responders, as well as our essential workers that many times go unnoticed. And so I got to tell you, this year, not only being a board supervisor, but as well serving as the chair of the Riverside County Board of Supervisors has been a tough job. I'm not going to lie about that. It's been a balancing act by all means. But as a result of being the chair and being a supervisor, I've been able to see up close all the battles that we're dealing with when it comes to coronavirus. And you all know when this all began in January, we became as a county one of the earliest jurisdictions in the nation to have to tackle this global pandemic. As a matter of fact, on January 28th, we got a call in less than 24 hours, 200 Americans from Wuhan, China will be landing at our March Air Reserve Base. And so we had 24 hours to prepare. So I also just want to give a shout out, quite frankly, to the County of Riverside staff and every single department for all their good work, obviously beyond this pandemic as well and during this pandemic. And we all know that this pandemic has brought many new issues and challenges. But we tried as much as possible to deliver on our number one responsibility, and that is the safety, the health, and the well-being of our residents. And we have maintained strong lines of communication with our local governments, as well with the business community. I want to thank specifically Josh Bonner from the Chamber team for the good work that he's doing on behalf of small businesses and our families and our communities, but as well in his role as Vice Chair, representing the Coachella Valley on the Economic Recovery Task Force, a countywide economic recovery task force. So thank you for that as well, Josh. And you're right, Ty. You can keep calling me. It's all right. I'll take your calls. I take everyone's calls, and I hear from every angle, as you know. But we are in a better situation as of Tuesday. We finally moved to the red tier, in which now allows nearly all businesses to open, obviously with modifications. And quite frankly, I think we got to stay the course. And I appreciate your message, Ty. Let's continue to social distance. Obviously, we got to continue to wash our hands, and we got to be careful when we go out and be careful when it comes to social gatherings. We got to wear facial coverings. We all got to do our part. Quite frankly, because we're all doing our part, we're also doing much better today than we were a few weeks ago, even a few months ago. As a matter of fact, we're moving in the right direction with cases, hospitalizations. Linda can attest to that. And as well, reducing the spread of the virus throughout our communities. And that's what we need to continue to do. Now, this has been a balancing act. Suppressing the pandemic, and quite frankly, on the other side of that, trying to make sure that we recover economically, and trying to have a parallel track and moving forward with both those issues. You know, we've only recovered about 31% of the jobs that were lost since the first wave of business closures. So, you know, we got some concerns here. That's very real. But with that said, though, I want to also I only got a minute left or less, just let you know about a few projects that we're working on here within the county of Riverside to suppress this pandemic and to help our businesses. I'm very proud of the fact that through the leadership of the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce and Josh Bonner, the Small Business Grant Program, $46.5 million, 3,460 businesses in round 2. On the first day that we opened round 3, 600 businesses applied. I'm very proud of Project Room Key, $10.5 million for permanent housing with the Ivy Hotel and 40 mobile homes in Oasis, in which we're going to be able to move farm working families from dilapidated housing into Mountain View Estates so they can have a new mobile home. Very proud of our quarantine effort for farm workers as essential workers. Not only $1 million to quarantine them in a hotel, but $2,000 stipend for them as they lose 14 days of work. Yesterday, we had a press conference with Riverside County Office of Education, Coachella Valley Unified School District, and our local school districts on ensuring that we fight the digital divide, because that's a civil rights issue as well and a social justice issue for us all, and ensuring that our kids have a quality education. And so as a result of that effort, Coachella Valley Unified School District received $1.25 million, 2,500 laptops, 2,500 mobile hotspots. Desert Center, a small district, $7,500, 15 laptops, 15 mobile hotspots. Desert Sands Unified School District, 15,100 mobile hotspots. Alo Verde Unified School District, $125,000, 250 laptops, 250 mobile hotspots. And the work continues. We have a lot more work to do, ladies and gentlemen. I took a little bit more than 5 minutes. I appreciate your time, but know that you know, we stick together, we fight together, we will win together. And I appreciate that message that you provided earlier, Ty. Thank you so much, everyone.
And thank you, Manuel Perez, Riverside County Supervisor. A lot of hard work and big decisions being made there at the county level during this pandemic. Let's move on to the Augustine Band of Cahuilla Indians. The chairman, Amanda Vance, is here and has an update on what's going on. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak today for Augustine Band of Cahuilla Indians. Like everyone else, our tribe has felt the significant repercussions of this ongoing global pandemic. Beyond the obvious financial effects of the 3-month closure our casino went through, the virus has caused us to look at everything in a fresh pair of new eyes. We have prioritized the safety of our team members and our guests instead of emphasizing on our revenues. We've closed our casino every night for 8 hours to do a deep clean. We've banned smoking. We've closed our buffet, table games, and valet service to reduce potential viral transmission in the high-touch areas. We've made mask wearing mandatory and removed half of the chairs in the casino for physical distancing. We've also been working on a couple of other little things. I am not home right now. I'm at our business in Vegas. So I would like to talk about 2 of the new business that are just open. We have Small Cook Farm. So this is our organic farm. We're actually selling these boxes for $25 to promote safe eating, healthy eating lifestyle. These boxes come with a lot of vegetables grown on the Augustine Reservation. And it's just $25. And you can pick up these boxes at Small Cook Farm. We also have our new games from Synergy Blue. So Synergy Blue is our new gaming manufacturing, distributing gaming company. These are our new Atari 2600 gaming consoles. So we are licensed in Nevada, currently trying to get licensed in Michigan, but these are the new games that we have available for everyone to play. And I think that's it.
Well, those look interesting. Thank you, Amanda, again, with the Augustine Band of Kauai Indians, some new games. I think we all like games, so that's something to look forward to as those move online there with the tribe. Our final speaker before we move on to the question and answers this morning is representing the city of Palm Desert. Please welcome the mayor, Gina Nastandi. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can.
Wonderful. Greetings, everyone. Last but not least, it's Mayor Gina Nastandi from the wonderful city of Palm Desert. And it's been uplifting to hear about what all our cities and tribes and county supervisor are doing here in Coachella Valley. I know together we will all help our valley recover from the pandemic. Our city of Palm Desert is financially sound despite the negative impacts of COVID on our economy. And because we are financially sound, our city is able to help our local businesses and hotels recover through the pandemic under our economic plan. It's called Unite Palm Desert. And we have a slideshow to play in a moment, but I just wanted to quickly highlight one of the many positive things we're doing here in our city. Our city has invested significant resources to create the Palm Desert iHub in partnership with CSUSB and CVEP. Palm Desert is ready to launch a technology business incubator that aims to attract and grow technology-based startup businesses. The iHub will have a lightning-fast, high-speed internet connection. In addition, this incubator will house CSUSB Palm Desert campus' first cybersecurity and entrepreneurial degree programs. The iHub is ready to launch as soon as all COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. Access to high-speed broadband continues to be a high priority for Palm Desert, and I know all of our valley. Palm Desert's working with CVEP to develop a pathway to plan for the future fiber optic infrastructure. So, like again, not just for our city, but for the whole Coachella Valley. And then with that, we have a slideshow, a short one to present to everybody. Okay. All right, so our economic relief plan is called Unite Palm Desert. And again, because we are financially sound, we were able to put a couple of $1 million into this program for loan assistance, business outreach, hospitality support, the CSU expansion efforts, and community partners such as the chambers. And the loan program is a $1 million program that helped our local business owners and employers. It's 0% interest, no payment the first 24 months. And depending on how many employees a business has, they could get up to $25,000. And these loans are forgivable. And also, you can use these loans for lease payments, inventory, payroll, reopening expenses. And the loan applications were reviewed by our committee, and we awarded over 150 businesses loans to help them get back on their feet. With business outreach, we launched a support hotline. We have a banner program that says open for business, and we waive business license fees. And we also have resources on our webpage to give COVID resources for all our businesses and employees. Hospitality support, almost $1 million. It's a voucher program. If you stay 2 nights, you get the 3rd night free, and the city pays for that, that 3rd night. However, we still do collect the sales tax and TOT from it, and we really believe this will help drive more tourists here, especially the drive market. Research is showing us that if people stay for 3 nights, they're more likely to stay for a week. Again, great news for our local businesses and restaurants. Then our efforts to expand Cal State University, we devoted $150,000 to establish Priority 1 CV. It's an independent 501c4, and we're really working hard to make Palm Desert a standalone campus. And we also are working hard to expand the degree programs such as cybersecurity. And then our community partners, we gave $850,000 in our community development block grant program. We gave $50,000 to the Chamber of Commerce and the El Paseo Business District, $10,000 to Find Food Bank, and that's still an ongoing charity that we will continue to support. And we have reserved funds for direct support for other community partners for reopening efforts and pandemic-related support. And then here's some more good news. Again, I just touched on it, the Palm Desert iHub, San Pablo, and the CV Link. Again, Palm Desert iHub leverages Cal State's high-speed broadband fiber to attract new technology-based startups and related high-tech jobs. And it's home to a new Cal State cybersecurity training program that could start this fall. Although it's not looking like that now, it's hopefully in the spring. And then we've got our San Pablo project, Envision San Pablo, transformation from a vehicle-focused throughway into a downtown destination where walking, biking, and fun are the focus. And there you see a picture of it. And we have completed construction on the south segment from Fred Waring to 111. And we're going to begin shortly going north of San Pablo, across Fred Waring over by Magnesia Falls, which then will tie into the CV Link. And speaking of the CV Link, this will provide a safe route for our thousands of local students while bringing the community closer together. And it will largely use existing bike routes and pedestrian pathways. So we don't have a lot of expenditure because the infrastructure is already there. And again, this CV Link will start at the Bump and Grind Trail and make its way over to College of the Desert and end up over by Cook Street. So we're really looking forward to this project. And then I look forward to any questions once we get to that segment of our program. Thank you very much, everybody.
And thank you, Mayor Standy, again from the city of Palm Desert. A lot going on there with the city of Palm Desert as well. The CV Link well underway, construction underway as we speak on that, which is cool to see. Before we go to the question and answer, that pretty much wraps up our presentations, but we've got some questions for today's forum as well. Before we do, we have a message from the Chamber that we'd like you to see.
Thanks, Jeff. Our technical team actually needs about 20 seconds to do some things behind the curtain to get us ready for that. While we do that, I just want to, on behalf of the Chamber, thank all the city elected leaders, tribal leaders, and also County Supervisor V. Manuel Perez, who joined us today. Also, at the beginning of the call, we thanked our title sponsors. Want to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsors, West Coast Cannabis Club, as well as Shandy Group USA. I'm getting message in the chat room that we're ready to go. Thanks, Jeff. Back to you.
Okay, you're more than welcome. They've done some magic, so we can continue on, which is cool. We've got some questions. We'll do about 5 minutes on each topic. We're going to open it up to all of our mayors and other representatives for a group discussion. So we'll have a timer, I'm told, up on the screen to keep track of the time, but let's jump right on into it now. First question here is, many of our small businesses are either closed or have been closed during the current pandemic. Do you feel that shuttering those businesses is an appropriate action in response to COVID-19? We'll open it up. Just kind of indicate if you want to talk, because everybody's muted for the most part. Mayor Evans, I see Linda Evans from La Quinta. If we can unmute her. There we go.
Thank you very much. It's been no secret that since the beginning, I've been an advocate of ensuring that we've got safety protocols. Being a part of the Desert Care Network, I've been able to watch the numbers avert the surge, peak in July, and now really we've been in single digits at our hospitals for the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is great. I advocate that all businesses should be able to function with the modifications and safety guidelines that have been put out not only by the county but the state. We need to continue to thrive, and we can do it in a safe manner and be responsible. And Supervisor Perez knows that I've been pounding on his door to say, let's do and work together so that we can open up every essential business that's out there. Thank you.
And I know that obviously it's not completely within our control, because we do look to the state for that ultimate guidance and are somewhat restricted by what the state says. Any hands? Anybody else that would like to? Mayor Ty Peabody from Indian Wells, I see a hand there.
Yeah, I would say, Jeff, probably the thing that's bothered me the most, and probably a lot of others, is has been the whole inconsistency of the way retailers have been particularly treated. Big boxes were allowed to open, small businesses were put out of business, and I think there should have been a lot more thought to how this process was going to happen, because a small business is just as good as a big business, and to put them out of business when they could do the same things that the big businesses did. In fact, big boxes caused a lot of the COVID problems. So I just hope going forward there's a fairness issue taken into consideration, and that we treat everybody equally without preference to the large businesses versus the small businesses. Thank you.
Okay, and I see Supervisor Perez with something to add there. Then we'll go to Mayor Glenn Miller as well. Perez, Supervisor?
Yeah, no, thank you, Jeff. And obviously I appreciate the points that were made before me, but I think we need to stay the course. Quite frankly, this pandemic, going back to the tennis garden closure, or the fact that we didn't have the event, and then the Coachella Fest and Stagecoach, at that time, difficult decisions for us, knowing that we're a tourism economy, but we didn't know very much about this pandemic. And quite frankly, from the very beginning, there have been inequities. That is for sure. When small businesses cannot open, and you do have big box stores that are opening and considered essential, obviously you have many businesses that lost their livelihoods, and people lost their jobs, and people lost their businesses overall. And so I think things could have been not much better if we had to press the reset button and start all over. But as was mentioned earlier, on Tuesday, we had another marathon meeting in which folks wanted us to reopen. And I did not support that per se, because I believe that right now, moving into the red tier, we're in a better situation. And if we stay the course, we will then eventually move into the orange tier. And quite frankly, Orange County has been able to do that. And I see that as the example for us. With that said, as well, the concern that I had with that ordinance or that idea of reopening, it was a thought that in the language within the ordinance that we would no longer have our public health director be the authority. It would be the CEO, and the public health director would be playing an advisory role. Our CEO is not a public health official. He's not an expert in healthcare. And so for me, that did not make sense. Now we'll see where we're at in a couple of weeks. And my hope is that we're in a better situation. And I hope that we will move into the orange tier. But I will say though that there have been inequities, and it is a shame that unfortunately many small businesses have had to shut their doors. And that's painful. That hurts.
Yeah, that is hard to see. Let's go to Glenn Miller from Indio. I know you had your hand up earlier.
I appreciate that, Jeff. And I've been a strong supporter of making sure we have the precautions in place to make sure that they have PPE equipment, that they're following the rules. A lot of our businesses are professionals. They are in professional businesses. They have agencies and organizations that help them through this. The barbers are a prime example. They put up all the materials that they needed to block people from individuals from chair to chair. They wore masks. They took individual appointments, and then we closed them down for no reason of their own. And then 3 weeks later, open them up. So the qualities of it is hurting our small businesses. We need to open up our businesses. We need to do it safely and make sure they're following the guidelines. But I don't think there's any small business out there or any family-run business is going to take an opportunity for dollars or money to get somebody sick, either themselves, their family members, their guests, because it just spirals backwards. So they're going to follow the rules and procedures. We need to open up all businesses and churches. They're all essential. Follow the rules and guidelines put in place by the state of California and the county to make sure those guidelines are in place, the social distancing, the masking up, and also the washing of the hands, the basic stuff we have to do, and give everybody equal opportunity. Government shouldn't be in the job of picking winners and losers, and we're picking winners and losers. And that's not fair to people that put their life savings out there and businesses that are saying, why not me? So I think we can do it safely. I think we can do it efficiently, and I think we can do it all together. We'll come out of this stronger, but everybody needs the opportunity to open their business.
Okay. I know there's a lot of interest here. Mayor Nastandi from Palm Desert, I saw her raise her hand, and then Mayor Hernandez as well. We'll get to you, then we'll move on to our next topic. Mayor Nastandi.
There I go. Yeah, and I just want to dovetail on what Mayor Glenn Miller has just said. Many of us were in a meeting back in August with our county supervisor, and thank you, County Supervisor Perez. You've done a great job of communicating with us. And at that meeting, we just got the news, and it was good news, that hair salons could open up. And so the question was asked, I think by Mayor Ty Peabody, well, if hair salons can open up, why can't the nail salons open up? So that question was directed to the public health official on the call, and I think it was Kim Swartori, and she couldn't answer the question. There was no science really based upon why a hair salon could open but not a nail salon. And I think that's what's been frustrating, is just the arbitrariness of it. Does one group have a better lobbyist than the other group? But again, just dovetailing on what Mayor Miller said, really, it's government shouldn't be deciding who's essential and who's non-essential. So I just wanted to add that point. Thank you.
Okay, and Mayor Hernandez, we'll go to you quick, and then we'll go to our next topic.
I agree with all of the mayors up here and the supervisor about kind of the inequities that have occurred, but I want to just kind of focus in on the message that all of us individually also have a huge responsibility. We're all part of the whole, and we all have to consider ourselves part of the whole. I think the politicization of wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, the responsibility that some of us had taken or some of us had not taken. For example, when small businesses did open, people rushed to the bars, and there was 100 people in one bar. You saw a lot of examples of folks not realizing their personal responsibility with respect to this pandemic and staying open. So I want to just emphasize that point, because we're getting to a point now where things are opening, But if everybody does not take that personal responsibility of doing their part as part of the whole, we're going to be back to closing again. So thank you.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, and until we get a vaccine, it's going to continue to spread. There's only the tried true things that we can do: the mask wearing, the hand sanitizing, and washing your hands so much, and of course social distancing. Moving on to our next topic, local city budgets. Of course, they've been stretched thin. Additional tightening coming if the economy doesn't move ahead and reopen even further soon. What will be the long-term effect for the Coachella Valley if we don't get significant state or federal assistance to help replenish local coffers? Who would like to speak on that? I see John Aguilar. How about you?
There we go. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yep, we got you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. So first of all, I would like to just take a minute to echo the comments of Mayor Hernandez. I'm in total agreement with him with respect to the need to be to take a more cautious approach on reopening. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We have flu season coming up, and I'm in favor of a balanced approach. But we also need to take care of our folks and their health is a priority for us. But in terms of the state and federal assistance question, I think many of us have already received some state and federal assistance, and that money has been heavily leveraged for us to be able to use in a variety of ways. Our budget has been affected, as have other cities. I think in our case, and perhaps in the case of other cities, a diversified local economy is really important. For example, in our case, we've actually seen an increase in auto sales during this period of time. So we're not singularly dependent upon one or two industries. I think that's going to be important going forward. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Congress will act on another CARES Act that will be able to give us more support.
Who else would I see? Christy Holstich from Palm Springs.
Thank you. Palm Springs has significantly, experienced the impacts of this crisis. I think our budget has been most impacted out of any Coachella Valley city, as well as looking at statewide and nationally. It's hard to find cities that are so tourism dependent and have experienced such shortfalls because of loss in tourism revenue. So it's been very difficult for local cities to see the bailout that's been given to large corporations. We saw the list of who's getting those bailouts, whereas small cities like ours have received very little in federal funding. So, the county of Riverside, thank goodness, has gotten $431 million in CARES Act funding. They've really done a very good job. Thank you to our Supervisor Perez for sending that out to local businesses, for rent relief, for so many needed services in our community. Comparatively, the city of Palm Springs has received a few $100,000. But cities like ours provide essential services. We're providing public safety. We're providing, support for our businesses. We're doing that economic development work that's so essential. So it is really crucial. And I know the League of California Cities is on the call, and all of us will continue to work together to really fight for our fair share of federal and state resources, since we really are on the front lines of responding to this pandemic. We've had to do public health when we don't have public health departments. We've had to really address all of this and enforce it. And we've really gotten no federal or state funding to do that. So I'm really hopeful that some bills will come down that will support local governments to do the jobs that we've really gone beyond our job descriptions here, but to keep our communities safe.
Yeah, I think everybody's going above and beyond trying to get through here. Joseph Mireles, I see you raising your hand there. We'll unmute you here in a second. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to give a different perspective on the tribal side because, and I was going to mention about the conversation that we had a second ago. One of the things is like us for Torres Martinez, we don't have a tax base. We don't have any of that. We have one casino down near the Salton Sea, and it's not like that's a thriving area. So that's where we're at with our economics. So when this hit, we had to take a solid a solid approach to say, I mean, tribal people as a whole are a dying breed. So we needed to make sure that we're going to do what we could to make sure that we're ensuring our elders and people within our community don't catch something that we can try to help, limit the spread. So when we closed down our casino, it was a huge blow for us. We ended up, so that, like I said, that was our only revenue stream. So we've been talking about how other ways we can make revenue, but in the meantime, we did apply for some funding, just like everybody else, got some CARES Act dollars. But even then, the CARES Act dollars that we got were based on some arbitrary number that didn't even meet the need of our tribal community. We have over 500 tribal members in our reservation that are enrolled members, and we didn't even get enough money to cover what we needed to for those people, just like every other city, just like every other county, just like everybody else within the system. So there's this falsity of, oh, we're tribal, so we're flush. We're not. So we're trying to make do with what we can do with what we have. And it's been tight, but we've been successful in it. But we didn't take, shutting down our one economic development, our revenue stream lightly, because we know that overall as a tribal community, we gather, it's what we do. So when we were told we can't gather anymore and we're not going to be having these functions anymore, it was a blow, but we knew it was the best thing for our community. And I do want to echo what Manny and Steve and everyone is saying. We need to keep going. We need to keep going the distance to get to the other levels, but the only way we can do that is if we do it together and not politicize it so much. We know that it's happening. We just have to figure out how to work together to ensure we get to the other levels so we can get to some sort of normalcy.
Yeah, thank you. It's not over till it's over, that's for sure. Social justice. It's been a conversation, of course. You can't miss it. It's all over the news. It's come to the forefront of the collective conversation nationwide, from wealth inequity to how we police. How do you feel the Coachella Valley is performing in some of those key metrics that are part of the conversation? Example like opportunity for upward mobility, minority-owned businesses, educational opportunities, policing, incarceration, etc. Okay, Manuel Perez, I see the supervisor wants to speak. There you go.
Thank you for the question. I think this is an opportunity for us to take a really good look at a few things. Number one is within the county of Riverside, our policies and procedures and how we can improve upon them when it comes to institutional racism. We've been having those conversations and we obviously can do a better job overall. I think when it comes to our sheriff department, obviously working with our sheriff's department, but figuring out ways as to how we can diversify, better train. And quite frankly, this was actually brought up to my attention by city council members, Robert Ratty and Fitzpatrick from the city of La Quinta, in which I think some time ago you had a meeting of some sort. And potentially, instead of maybe sending a sheriff, a deputy to a home, maybe it's a mental health individual or a counselor to be able to provide counseling services to that individual, depending on what the situation is in their home. And so what that means as well is taking a really good look at how we could obviously fund our sheriff's department, but ensure that we also sustain our budgets when it comes to public safety within our cities, because every year, you all know, those that are contracting, you all know that every year it's going up 6%, maybe even a little bit more, and it's hard to keep up with that. The other thing that we're doing as well, and I want to put it out there, is that as we talk about institutional racism and those issues and concerns, we're going to have listening sessions. And these were requested by the community members throughout the county of Riverside, September 29th from 3 to 6, October 6th from 5:30 to 8, October 24th, 10 to 2, November 10th, we're going to be closing and having deliberation. But here in the 4th District, through CVAG, we're also going to have a listening session when it comes to the county budget, where potentially we can provide more funding when it comes to safety net and social services, but at the same time having that discussion around public safety. Where can we improve when it comes to public safety? And so I want to put that out there for folks for your consideration. And you can look at my website in case you want to know the dates and where will we. And it's also going to be done virtually as opposed to only in Riverside. So by all means, please participate if you can.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Mayor Hernandez from Coachella.
Thank you once again for this time. I think for us, we need to use this moment as an inflection point in terms of what we can do better as local government. When we think about the issues that are being brought up from the people of color, they're talking about things that have been important to the vast majority of us since the 1950s. They're talking about, quality and affordable housing. They're talking about access to capital to open up a small business. They're talking about access to good education and having an education opportunity, access to jobs and having diversity on corporate boards. They're talking about, having access to clean and safe water. And I think for us as local government, that's all within the realm of what we can do or what we do well. And for us, it's really taking a step back, looking at what we're doing individually in each city, and knowing that when we're talking about people of color, they're just asking for fairness. And so for us in the city of Coachella, we believe heavily in affordable housing. We're building affordable housing. We believe heavily in healthcare. We're building a 40,000 square foot a new healthcare clinic. And I think that message and those things, I think all of us in the cities in the Valley can, that's our bread and butter, and we can step up to meet these social justice challenges throughout the Valley.
Okay, one more minute on this topic. I see Mayor Evans wants to speak.
Sure, just quickly, I think that always there's opportunities for improvement, but I'm impressed and proud and amazed at one of the unique qualities that the Coachella Valley represents, and that is the diversity that we have amongst our cities and how we lead our cities, and the philanthropic generosity that exists in the Coachella Valley, and how many opportunities exist for our youth, whether it be for scholarships, on the job programs. It's amazing to me compared to looking at when I grew up. If I had half the resources that we provide to our individuals, whether it be food, senior help, healthcare, it's amazing. And I think that we can't just blanket that something's happening nationally applies to the Coachella Valley, but we can take apart those components that we feel need more attention and address those appropriately. But I'm quite impressed with how much we work together and pride ourselves in the diversity and willingness to help others regardless of city boundaries.
Okay, couple more questions. We only have, I think, 5 minutes before the program's officially over, but let's try to get on to those questions. Your thoughts on continued spending on infrastructure projects such as the Palm Desert Envision San Pablo, Indio's downtown redevelopment, general road traffic, other needed improvements. How can our cities partner with private developers to keep development moving forward, as the budgets, of course, are tightened all around for cities, developers alike? Who would like to speak? Mayor Hernandez again, I see. And then we'll go to John Aguilar.
For all of us in the Coachella Valley, we need to continue to double down on infrastructure. If you remember back in 2011, 12, 13, the Coachella Valley stepped up and built these massive corridors. I mean, we built Jefferson, we built a bunch of freeway interchanges, and that provided some good economic stimulus. At the same time, when we invest in infrastructure, we know that that is perhaps one of the largest, I wouldn't want to call it a subsidy, but one of the largest investments that we can do that actually brings down the cost of economic development. When we're pushing water projects, when we're pushing sewer projects, when we're expanding roads, those are all things that the developer won't have to do, and we're going to have to do that as a valley. We have to invest in our infrastructure so that we can attract more economic development.
Okay, Mayor Aguilar. Let's see, we still have John on mute. There we go. Can hear you now.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to point out briefly that I think the partnership section of this question is really important. I think private-public partnerships is really going to be an important tool going forward in trying to leverage the kinds of investment that are being made in our communities. And I can think of two examples just in our community, working, of course, with the tribe that was able to produce our new fire station. We have two major retail developments that have been able to help significantly in the infrastructure area. So, that combined with our federal programs, we've been able to secure over $100 million infrastructure grants, and we're looking forward to that continuing. But the partnership alignment, I think, is really important going forward. Thank you.
And Mayor Glenn Miller from Indio. There we go.
Thank you. Yeah, there's nothing we can do more important than to do with our infrastructure. Our infrastructure is the basis of everything from development to economics in terms of bringing in businesses, keeping businesses. So I think we do a great job of it now regionally with CVAG and working towards transportation. That's what's made us so strong, the CV Link and the other opportunities that we've come together. That's what's brought in the grants. I think if we continue to invest in our infrastructure from small cell towers for 5G for our whole communities, roads and infrastructure projects, working with our water districts in the county and the rest of the state agencies and federal agencies with the grants that are coming in, we will bring the tide up. And it really shouldn't matter if it's Indio or if it's Palm Springs or La Quinta. The stronger each one of our cities are with infrastructure, with businesses, the rest of us will float up, because not everybody that lives in Indio works in Indio. So we need to think regionally, and we need to think about grants that we can get that are the strongest and make sure we're building the projects where it's going to be most fortitude to bring in economic development and dollars, not only into the city's coffers, but into the county's coffers, because they help pay for a lot of our services. So we need to look at that and continue to work like we are. And I think we've done a great job of that.
Oh, okay. Does anybody else want to? Okay, Mayor Nastandi.
Okay. Well, you mentioned in your question San Pablo as one of the projects, and so I thought I'd touch on that. You know, unfortunately, the pandemic and resulting economic downturn has negatively impacted almost all municipal funding sources. And so cities will really have to prioritize projects going forward. And while we don't have any private investment in Palm Desert San Pablo project to date, it has always been seen as a catalyst for private investment along the street and beyond to surrounding neighborhoods and the Highway 111 corridor. And it's important, I believe, for local governments to continue making smart investments in infrastructure to achieve community goals and create economic opportunity. We also have our Desert Surf Resort 14-acre project moving forward with developers from the San Diego area. And we believe that's going to be a game changer for the whole entire valley. It's going to include a hotel. It's going to include homes and timeshares, restaurants, and retail shops. And we believe it will bring millions of visitors, especially during the summer, to our desert. So we have that in the works as well.
Okay, yeah, one thing we don't have is the ocean out here, but we're going to have some waves here pretty soon, which is pretty neat there.
And it's going to be a water conscious friendly. Coachella Valley Water District has given its stamp of approval. So we don't have to worry that we're not being sustainable.
That's great news too. You always see on Facebook and other social media, people complain, well, that we shouldn't be wasting the water. It's got the blessing there from the Coachella Valley Water District.
Yes.
Real quick, I think we have time for one more question before the program comes to an end for the day. Broadband. I know that it was mentioned in some of your comments earlier about the technology divide. Broadband in the Coachella Valley continues to become an issue. Most recently, connectivity again for kids trying to learn at home. What can you as local leaders do to help improve our communications infrastructure, which many now view as important as roads when it comes to the economy? What can we do about that? I see Glenn Miller. Let's go to Glenn.
Thank you. I think what we need to do is work with our local and regional phone systems. Sprint, all the other, Verizon, bring in small 5G cell towers throughout the city and make it affordable for incomes that need to have it given to them, or areas. We need to be able to provide that and work regionally as a whole to be able to provide 5G and higher economic Wi-Fi so that people can get on the Wi-Fi, do their education in schools. But there's a lot of programs out there from our multiple providers of cell phones and cell towers that are dying to get into our cities to be able to provide that. Unintrusive to areas, put them on top of a pole and nobody even knows they're there. And I think it gives everybody the best opportunity to get the technology they need.
Yeah, technology sure has improved just over the past 5-10 years. Mayor Evans from La Quinta, did you want to add something?
Yes, please. Thank you, Jeff. Well, and Gina already mentioned the iHub component that's happening at Cal State San Bernardino Palm Desert campus, which is outstanding. The city of La Quinta, let's see. City of La Quinta, as part of the signal synchronization project and some revamping of our signals throughout the city, also prepared for that fiber optic future for broadband, so that we looked at the changes that we needed to make for maintenance and upgrades, and then how we can prepare for the addition of broadband, as Mayor Miller mentioned, in terms of partnerships with some of our communications companies. But it'll be critical to be able to diversify the types of businesses that we have in the Coachella Valley, not just rely on tourism and agriculture, as we've seen that we've got to find new creative ways to bring other technological entities inside of our community.
Okay. And I see Supervisor Perez.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with my colleagues that spoke, Mayor Evans, Mayor Miller, working with the private entities, the frontiers of the world, if you will, the spectrums of the world, to figure out how we can ensure we build out that infrastructure. And I recently talked to Tom Kirk from CVAG, mentioning that we need to have a robust conversation on the digital divide through CVAG, and to see how we could prepare ourselves to be shovel ready. And what I mean by that is a couple fronts. Number one is recently we had a conversation with supervisors throughout Southern California, San Diego, Orange, Ventura, Los Angeles, San Bernardino, obviously ourselves, and Imperial County, and looking at, you know, best practices, models, lessons learned, figuring out how we can work together, potentially through CVAG, through SCAG, Southern California Association of Governments, and ensuring that we put together a plan of action and even a resolution so that we can send up to Sacramento to move us forward and to be ready for what potentially is coming, which is another effort on behalf of Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia, which potentially is a bond measure to ensure that we have broadband infrastructure throughout the state of California. And so there are a few things that are happening as we speak to try to get us there. And ultimately, we have to do that in order for us to have equity, so that we can have fairness, so that our youth can be educated and receive a quality education, so that we can have telehealth, so that we can have telebusiness. That's also equally as important. And so those are some of the efforts that are going on as we speak.
Okay. And Mayor Hernandez from Coachella, I saw you raising your hand as well.
Thank you again. I think one of the things as a region that we could all do is standardize our ordinances when we go to the city of Coachella, when we go to the city of Indio, go to the city of Palm Desert. The ordinances that we have are different. So if you're Verizon, if you're Frontier, it's a different process in each one of our cities. So I think that, you know, if we as a region can adopt perhaps one type of ordinance, I know that it doesn't speak to local control, but it's more of a standardization to help advance the entitlement process of these cell towers. I think that would definitely help. The other thing is that I think cities need to kind of rethink this as well. We shouldn't be scared of becoming an internet provider and actually creating our own utilities. We in the past have relied on the private sector to do this, and while that is a good model and a great model, and I'm not going to knock it, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense for them. And so for us, I think that we have an opportunity to maybe go after some federal and state grants where the Coachella Valley cities can start going into that utility and actually starting to become its own internet provider. So that's something that we're going to be exploring, and I think Valley cities ought to perhaps take a look at that as well.
Okay, Mayor Hernandez, and I know that maybe perhaps a CVAG initiative for the standardization so that we can have a common set of rules. I see that that could be an issue. I believe that does it for our questions today, and I've learned an awful lot from so many of you. Thank you, everybody who's given us your time and your insights for your particular corners of the Coachella Valley this morning. I've learned a lot. I've also learned that Mayor Evans has a very colorful water bottle, and Robert Griffith has a cat that looks real cute running through the shot. It was lots of fun to see. Thank you all for being here this morning. Again, on behalf of the Chamber, we appreciate you doing this. Our panelists, thank you for joining us. The audience, thank you for tuning in. If you want, today's town hall is going to be available for viewing at gcvcc.org if you missed any portion of this morning's program. Again, it's gcvcc.org if you missed it and want to watch it again. Other than that, I think that does it for us. I'm Jeff Stahl, and I will turn it back to the experts here if we want to end the call. Thank you so much for being here today, and have a great rest of your day.
And I just want to quickly thank everyone, and not everyone got to see the amount of text that were flying back and forth as Jeff was adjusting on the fly. So Jeff, you did a tremendous job as moderator. Thank you for your help. Everyone have a great day.